Will you hand me my scream box? Now go.
All right. So, Jordan. Okay, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child comes to our detention facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days, and the judge has to decide whether you remain in custody or are released to the community. If you remain in custody, like you have been, then you have to see a judge every 10 business days while you are here for me to make that same determination. All right, and that's why we're here today, and I'm proceeding on this. Mr. Houston is your attorney, and he's also here on Zoom. You can probably see him on your screen. All right, you have the right to remain silent. You have a right to have an attorney at these proceedings. All right, so before we start, I guess, is it Nagel?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So you're with CPS in Bell County. Can you tell me what the conservatorship status of Jordan is? I'm sorry, in which county?
I'm in Hill County.
I'm sorry, Hill County. So what is the conservatorship status for Jordan right now?
His mom still has custody of him. We don't have anything in place as far as like a safety plan or any plans to go forward with taking custody of him.
So are you just at investigation stage, or how are you all involved then?
Yes, we're still in the investigation stage.
And at this point, do you have any idea which direction you're going? Are you kind of close to closing it out, or you're still trying to figure out what's going on?
Yeah, based on what goes on today, we'll determine if we're going to be able to start working on closing it out or how we're going to proceed.
All right, good. All right, thank you very much for being here. All right, so Jordan, you're 15 years old, and on January 25th, Arlington police responded to a domestic at Perimeter Behavioral, said your mom came to pick you up from Perimeter as you were being discharged. When you saw your mom, you became agitated, started kicking the lobby doors. Staff came to take you to a different area. And when you're passing by your mother, you lunged from behind and punched her in the back of the head. Mother told police she did not think you were ready to come home. Also said that when you saw her, you said that if you're going to go home with her, you're going to kill her. Or say that the perimeter therapist told officers that he had a teleconference with CPS with Ms. Nagel the previous day, and CPS did not see a reason for Jordan to stay hospitalized, and CPS was not going to do a removal. Right. So I'm going to ask Ms. Nagel, since you probably know, since the mom is in here, how did Jordan end up at Perimeter? Was it a placement through CPS or a private placement?
He had suicidal and homicidal ideations and had assaulted mom. And so law enforcement had him taken to Perimeter. And we got involved due to Perimeter wanting to release Jordan, and mom didn't want to come and pick him up. So due to him still having the homicidal ideations.
Ms. Edwards, does Jordan have juvenile history in Hill County or other counties? Do we know?
He has history in Hill County. In February 2022, he has an assault causes bodily injury, family violence. It was closed out because they offered mental health services. So it's closed out at intake. But he has no pending cases in Hill County.
What has he been diagnosed with?
He has interstitial duplication of the X chromosome 21, a psychotic disorder related to other medical conditions with delusions, ADHD, bipolar disorder, conduct disorder, and DMDD, which is disruptive mood dysregulation disorder.
Snagel, I'm going to ask you, since the mom's not here, are you aware if he's been on medication?
He was put on medication at Perimeter. I'm not sure what medications. I hadn't gotten a list from them. We struggled with getting information from Perimeter. We also struggled with trying to understand how it was a safe discharge for him to go home if he was still having the homicidal ideations. And we never really got a clear answer on that. So
And the violent outburst inside the lobby.
Correct.
Okay. So let's see. There's a report by the therapist. Jordan tends to get angry when mom is present. Claims that mom abused him or reported abuse from this year. Mother does not want the youth back. And under no circumstances will she take the youth back home. And she has actually had to purchase a firearm to protect herself from Jordan. Right. So Jordan and his siblings have developmental disabilities. And the CPS has been involved for several years. How many years
Yes.
have y'all been involved?
We have had cases with Jordan. Let me make sure. Let me give you exact.
I can add. It's been since 2022. They moved here from California.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I just wanted to make sure I was given the right year.
Is there a check? Have we checked to see if he has juvenile history in California?
California's not real forthcoming.
Sure. All right. Okay, so I've seen this report. Child is on the spectrum. Feels that, well, I guess there's the mom's treating kind of the youth differently. Is Lisa not here? Lisa, can you possibly hear me? All right. And the, I guess the therapist at Perimeter recommends that Jordan be placed in a foster home.
I can't hear you.
Oh, hello, Lisa.
I'm so sorry. I was going,
No, no.
I'm here.
Okay. No, I'm glad you made it. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I know CPS has some information, our probation department has some information, but you'll have more information than the rest of us, right? So I kind of want to get a feel for what's going on. Now I'm going to ask, do you know everything that your son has been diagnosed with for mental health reasons, for mental health diagnoses?
She did read off the list correctly. That was what I had provided to her. You're saying he's on the spectrum. That's nothing that he's never been diagnosed as being on the spectrum before.
Okay, so he does not have autism.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, so we have the DMDD, the ADHD, let's see, what else? All right.
It's conduct disorder, ADHD. I think one of the medications he takes is for bipolar, but I didn't actually see that on his diagnosis list. And at Perimeter, they put him at that DMDD, or that disruptive mood dysregulation disorder.
When's the last time you saw his psychiatrist?
I believe it was in November, or possibly even December, because he went into a facility in October, got out the beginning of November, had an appointment with the psychiatrist. She increased his meds. We had a follow-up in his last appointment was supposed to be while he was at Perimeter. So, yeah, but he goes every 4 to 12 weeks. It depends on if there was a medication change or whatnot.
So the last time you actually saw a psychiatrist was last year?
At the end of last year, yes.
And you personally do not feel safe with Jordan in your home, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, I see a mention in the report of Jordan threatening a sister threatening to stab his sister.
He went to Perimeter after that incident as well, that he had threatened her with a box cutter. And I believe that was in 2022.
And how old is that sibling?
She's now 17.
All right. So, Ms. Edwards, right now his behavior level is level 3 confined. Why is that?
He is a level 3 confined. It didn't specify It simply only said that he had multiple issues in class, including talking in line in the cafeteria, refused to enter the program, talking during showers. He refused to wake up and groom on the 5th, not following instructions, but they didn't specify why he was secluded. I'm assuming that it was a bunch of minor violations that led to a major.
It was probably consistent with his DMDD. So this, I mean, this is a misdemeanor offense, right? So we're like long term, where are we going with this? Dwayne, have you had a chance to get into negotiations with the prosecutor?
I have not got into negotiations with Olivia yet. She sent me an email this week where she notified me that of the situation between the mother and the juvenile and how no, she does not want this juvenile home. From what I understand, Olivia did tell the mom that at some point, with this being a misdemeanor offense, he is going to come home or go somewhere, and because we can't just keep him forever. No, we have had no negotiations. I'm assuming this is going to be the typical, probably probated sentence. But I don't know where we're heading right now, Judge. Because once again, CPS is involved, or they're getting involved, and I think the mother hasn't had the best experience with that. But I understand your situation. You can't keep them forever either. So,
Yeah, it's a misdemeanor, so he has to get probation. Well, so let me, Ms. Nagel, let me ask you, from the CPS side in Hill County, what, can y'all take possession of Jordan?
We don't have a danger indicator for Jordan's safety. So that's why we haven't taken possession at this point. It's more or less Jordan being the danger than Jordan being in danger. So.
There's a weird little gap in the law, right? If it's just a misdemeanor, court has.
Yes, sir.
I can't commit a child for misdemeanor because he's dangerous to others. But then your mandate from DFPS is that you can't take children if they're the danger to others. Like they have to be abused or neglected.
Correct. Correct.
Right. So what about a rapper? Is this, and you have to forgive me, I'm more familiar with the Tarrant County, the way, the culture of CPS in Tarrant County. That is something that happens once in a while where it's just a refusal to accept parental responsibility. If mom refuses to pick up Jordan, then Ms. Lipscomb, I guess this falls on you because it becomes a rapper out of Tarrant County.
Well, the case is still open in the Hill, but the incident happened in Tarrant County, and so a new intake had to be called in.
Right, but so let's say I order his release today, and then mom does not pick him up, and then our detention facility would call CPS here in Tarrant County to say we have an unattended, unsupervised child.
Correct.
And then y'all would have to open the case to take possession.
Correct.
But then,
because the incident in Tarrant County.
So then now, if there was a rapper, since there's an ongoing investigation out of Hill County, but there's no case filed, so there's no court that has jurisdiction out of Hill County. Is that correct, Ms. Nagel?
Correct.
Right. So now you're looking at a rapper, I guess that may fall inside Tarrant County since the rapper occurred here. Right?
Correct. But they would transfer the case to Hill County.
Sure. Because
that's where the parent lives.
Right. And that's where the child, he's a resident. He was just here at the hospital in Tarrant County. He doesn't live in Tarrant. Lisa, does your son have a runaway history?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that. What's the longest he's run away for?
It's not long. He'll run off and then The first time he ran off, he called the cops and said he had escaped from where he was being held hostage. The second time he ran off, he ran to less than a mile to one of the local hotels and told them that I had beat him. The next time he ran off, he was doing an intake for the yes waiver, and he ran out of the MHMR office. The last time he didn't actually leave, and they were ready to put out an Amber Alert, but he was hiding in the house and watching us search for him.
Lisa, this is going to be difficult. It's very introspective, but do you feel like Jordan's issues are for whatever reason? Are they conflicts isolated to you, or would he do this? Do you feel like he would do this generally to anybody in authority over him?
I think eventually he would do this to anybody in authority over him. But right now, since that is my role, it is targeted at myself. And then the second in line would be his sister.
So I'm looking at all these infractions in our detention facility, and for the most part, I mean, they're just minor. They're not major, right? But there's just so many minors multiple times a day, but just not following any of the rules and not being supervised. And so, Ms. Edwards, is he medication compliant here?
I haven't received any report saying that he wasn't.
Okay. Do we know if he has medication here? Like, he does. Okay.
His mom dropped it off the first day he was here.
All right. So this is where I'm at. Jordan, this is my take on the situation, is I'm not prepared to release you to your mother's home. Okay. I think it's a situation where I have to be concerned about the safety of you and the safety of the community. And I feel like the community's in danger. Community meaning your mother is part of the community. She's in danger if I was to release you there. What that means is we're looking at releasing you to CPS. However, I am not going to release you to CPS when your behavior is as bad as it is. If you're not following any of the rules here, that you're getting multiple violations per day in our detention facility, that's not fair to CPS to place a child with them that is going to be defiant, that's going to break all the rules. I don't want you to have to sit in their office overnight with 3 shifts of CPS workers sitting on top of you to make sure that you don't run away. So I need you to meet me somewhere in the middle. I know you don't like being in our detention facility. You're not supposed to like being in our detention facility. What I need you to do is get your behavior up to level 1.0, which all that tells, I'm not asking you to do anything remarkable. I'm just asking you not to break a rule. Just don't break any rules it would end up being 9 days. If you do that for 9 days, then I'm looking at releasing you to CPS and we can try to find a place to go. So I guess what this means, Ms. Lipscomb and Ms. Nagel, is y'all can probably stay in touch with Ms. Edwards, keep track. If Jordan's behavior does not improve, then we'll have to see how long he stays here. If it does improve, then y'all should probably get prepared, Ms. Lipscomb, for a wrapper, at which point then y'all would probably transfer this down to Hill County. So Ms. Nagel, you'll probably have a kid coming down from Tarrant to you. But I don't want to release him to you if he is not prepared to respect the rules and respect the situation that he's in. Okay, so I'm trying to meet you halfway here.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Jordan, did you want to say something?
I said I will respect the rules.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. And I want you to understand that I'm giving you the keys to get out of here. All right. But those keys means you just have to follow the rules and do what I'm not asking you to do anything amazing. Just don't break the rules. And then when you get out, don't break the rules there either. Don't run away. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be assaultive. And then from there, I think CPS can figure out what's safe and what's best for you, as well as the other children in your mom's home. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Ms. Nagel, I know I'm Ms. Lipscomb. Ms. Lipscomb, you're just kind of the in-between. So for you, it's not that big of a deal. Ms. Nagel, I hope you understand I'm trying to put you in a situation for y'all to succeed. I don't want to set up, I'm trying not to set you up for failure, I guess is what I'm doing. Succeeding or not, that depends on so many things outside of your and my control.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So does that sound, I'm not asking you like this, but does this sound reasonable, Ms. Nagel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us through Zoom. Mr. Houston, thank you for being here. Jordan, hopefully I will not see you in 10 days because you can actually get this done. And if your behavior is right, then we can go ahead and set up for your release. Lisa, Mom, do you understand what I'm talking about with a wrapper, a refusal to accept parental responsibility?
Not exactly, no.
Okay, what that is CPS cannot take a child unless the child is being abused. And there's no indication that you have abused your child. The problem is you seem to be the victim of your child's abuse from what I've seen. Now, the other way for CPS to gain possession of a child is what's called a wrapper, a refusal to accept parental responsibility. That's where a parent says, I cannot supervise or provide care for my child for whatever reason. It could be mental health issues like this. It could be financial difficulties. There's all kinds of reasons. Well, what this does is this is the avenue that the law in Texas provides to allow CPS to take possession of a child. All right. A lot of parents have trouble conceding the fact that they cannot provide care for their child, but we have, I think Jordan's a very unique situation as well. So
I have vocalized that to CPS.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. This is something I cannot give you legal advice. I'm a judge, but you may want to talk to an attorney about this process, an attorney that practices CPS law, and they can give you the ups and downs. But this seems like at this point, you have to realize my focus is on trying to find a way for Jordan to get out of our detention facility and to lead a better life. My concern is not about tranquility in your home or in your life personally. Okay. So my perspective is very skewed. But that seems to be the best path right now to achieve the goals that are consistent with juvenile justice in Texas. Okay.
Okay. I don't understand how do I initiate a wrapper?
So what happens then is if Jordan can get his behavior and maintain his behavior at level 1 outstanding, then I will order his release, at which point when Miss Edwards calls you and says, Jordan is being released, please pick him up, you will then respond to her, I am not picking him up. And at that point, Miss Edwards will then have to call CPS here in Tarrant County, and they will have to pick up the child because that is their mandate. We cannot have 15-year-old boys living on the streets, right? And so they will come pick him up and then theoretically, ideally, bring him down to Hill County.
Okay.
Okay?
Understood.
All right. Mr. Houston, anything else?
Yes.
All right. Well, Jordan, good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions. It looks like you've made a lot of bad decisions while you're in detention. That's keeping you there and why you're level 3 confined. And so please make better decisions, make your situation better. But remember, there's no situation so bad that you can't make it worse. And so just please stop making it worse, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jordan.
Yes. All right.
Did you want to say anything else or are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone. So this concludes the Zoom detention hearing. We will now go to in-person courtroom detention hearings.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke. We need an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're going to start bringing people in person. He's going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no patience for that. And trust me, out of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that thinks.